Running fans, welcome back to This Week in Athletics. I say this every single time we do this show, but there is so much to cover over the past 7 days of athletics action. My name is Lloyd, your host for today, and we are going to dive straight in. First stop is at the Martin Luther King Jr. Invitational meeting in Albuquerque, where Team GB's Dina Asher-Smith took the win in the 300 metres. She not only did that, she also smashed the British record and ranked herself third in the world rankings. Now that is how you start a year. Next up, we're going to head to North London to Parliament Hill, the iconic venue for cross-country racing over the ages, and it was no different at the London Cross Challenge meet, where we had different distances, different types of races, but we're going to kick things off with the Bucks Cross Challenge races. They are the British University Championship races, where university students across the UK came together and they were hoping to take the win and qualify for the World University Championships. Now, it was a short course race, over 4 kilometres, and in the women's race, the podium was made up of Beth Morley, who took the win. She also took the win at the Liverpool European Cross Championships trial race back in November, so she is in fantastic form of late. And rounded off the podium was Tia Wilson and Danny Chatterton. In the 4K men's race, it was Adidas-sponsored Alex Malloy who took the bragging rights on the day and the gold medal, and he booked his seat on the plane to the World Uni Championships. And rounding off the podium in the men's race was Sam Mills and Rowan Meal Ingram. There was a lot of hype around this event. We did discuss it this week on the Trackster podcast because our man Alfie raced in the senior men's 10K race. So head over to that episode to check out our review on the new event to the calendar. Now, in the longer races, in the senior women's, it was Abby Donnelly who blew the field away. She sat in for a little while, and then when she made her move, didn't she just go? She decimated the field and won by a massive, massive distance. This is the newly sponsored Kip Run athlete who took the win on the day. It's worth noting that first across the line did qualify for the World Cross Country Championships, so that is Abby Donnelly booked her seat on the plane to the champs. Now, if I told you in the men's race that the first 3 across the line were a professional triathlete, a professional ultra athlete, and a marathon athlete, also professional, would you believe me? Well, welcome to Great Britain cross-country racing, because that is exactly what you get and you should get used to. First across the post was Hugo Milner, the Derby athlete who took the win also at the European cross-country trials race in Liverpool in November. And he was joined on the podium by ultra marathon athlete Tom Evans. And in third was Mohammed, who you may have remembered debuted over the marathon not too long ago in Valencia with a 2:08. It's Hugo Milner, the triathlete, who's booked his ticket to the upcoming World Cross Country Championships. And here's a little insight for you. Normal athletes like you and me, maybe we taper for big races like this. Hugo, the day before, he went out for a run, he went out for a swim, and he went out for a bike ride. Triathletes, they're just built different. Next up, a somber note, the athletics community mourns the loss of 2015 World Pole Vault champion Sean Barber. He passed away on the 17th of January this year, and he leaves a legacy behind that will never be forgotten within the pole vault, but the wider athletics community as well. We have exciting announcements coming from the Millrose Games. Julian Alfred and Dina Asher-Smith have announced themselves to race the 60 metres. It's going to be interesting to see 2 of the fastest women in the world come up against each other at this pivotal point of the Olympic year. So world leads are coming in thick and fast. Next up in the women's 60 metres, and Luxembourg gave us the new world lead coming from Patricia van der Wieken. Clocking an impressive 7.09 seconds, she now holds the top spot ahead of America's Alicia Hobbs. Now back to Great Britain, let's talk about the new series, the Top Flight Races series, which kicked off this past Saturday in the Newcastle 10K. Now it has a prize pot of £60,000 across the 12 race series, and athletes, they're not just racing for bragging rights and money on the day, they're also tallying up points where the overall winners in the men's and women's category will win the big cash prize. In the men's 10K race, it was Cam Allen who took the win on the day, just out-kicking Callum Johnson, with Dennis Kiplangat making the rest of the podium. All 3 athletes inside 30 minutes. In the women's 10K race, it was Jasmine Wood who secured maximum points on the day, taking the win in an impressive sub-34 minute clock-in, with Lauren Dixon and Emily Kearney rounding off the podium and taking maximum points for their respective positions. Now, wrapping up our highlights, Georgia Bell and Reve Walcott-Nolan absolutely smashed their away day in Dortmund this past week. In the 1500 metres, they took 1 and 2 with 4:03 performances, securing that world qualification mark for the indoor world champs. Thanks for joining us on This Week in Athletics, but that's not all. If you like these updates, if you like these short snippets and you want more analysis and deeper dive into the world of athletics, head over to the Trackster podcast, which is available on all major platforms where myself and Alfie, we basically chat for an hour and a half about what's going on in the world of athletics from the past 7 days.